might actually work into his benefit this weekend for the 19-year-old out of Palo Alto, California.
And if you haven't been with us or seen the headlines involving Juncos Hollinger this week, Augustine Canapino is taking a leave of absence. That's why the Californian teenager is in the car. Post-Detroit last weekend, there was a lot of social media activity from Canapino's fans targeting Teo Pourchaire of Arrow McLaren because of their contact at Detroit. And the net result is Canapino is not in the car.
Running on the same line, drying up bits of the racetrack. It's going to get quicker. It's going to be a game of who's the last car across the line.
Check this out. Show you a replay just a few moments ago. Marcus Armstrong in the Ridgeline Lubricants Honda. He's going to get sideways for sure.
13.
Oh, whoa.
Those curbs, the paint on those curbs can just be so slick when they're wet like that.
Don't touch the paint on the curbs or the white line. It's not your friend. It does not help you in any bit. Now, he probably was carrying a slide across the middle and had to carry it out there, but you want to run the black stuff only. Even right there at the exit of the carousel, that could really cause a huge issue at the exit and put Marcus Armstrong right out of this session. I wouldn't go anywhere near the paint this entire session. It's not going to get dry.
It is just going to leave it and this sort of in between. Well, it's not in between. It's wet right now, but
that look committed from Will Power. What does it look like on the track? Or half a second to the good over Rossi, now 3/10. So presumably he pedaled it quite a bit there in the kink.
Well, when you see
thinking the same thing we were.
And you see a car going wider and wider in wet conditions through the kink at Road America. It's pretty wild. How's the lap?
Further back, Kiffin Simpson potentially on his way to his best ever IndyCar qualifying position.
Here's the other thing to consider, guys. For the drivers that went in and got that second set, if it stays wet, they're running out of tires.
Yeah.
If you ran on that one set for the whole session, you're in much better position for Q2.
Oh, that is big commitment.
Sliding the back of that car through the kink.
That got him about 3/10 to the field.
Kiffin Simpson, though, looking good at a 0.6 of a second, now half a second to the good. Lundgaard is good. There's going to be some big change here coming up to the Alt finish line. Turn 13 here for Joseph Newgarden. VK improves, puts O'Ward 6th. Joseph crosses the line and goes from 7th to 3rd.
It's P3 right now.
Great work. All right, so what's Pato? What's Christian got? And what about Kiffin Simpson? 3 left in the green. Can they keep it there?
Kiffin's going to be the last of these cars across the line as well. First up is going to be Pato.
O'Ward goes to 2nd. Lundgaard goes from 9th to where? Wait for it, 6th.
Checkered flag, box this time, box.
But Kiffin Simpson knocks out Lundgaard.
That is an awesome effort from one of the rookies in this field in the Journey Honda. The Journey Rewards Honda. Well done, Kiffin Simpson.
Think about it this way. I mean, you're going to get fewer laps than any other track because it's the longest lap. He, like you say, didn't even get a single lap really in practice. So limited experience in an IndyCar anyway. 0 experience in an IndyCar in the wet. Only met the team yesterday. Had no preparation. And again, hardest track to really get up to speed on. So a lot to be proud of. Just a solid effort, didn't make a mistake. The kid's learning and he's doing a great job. Half of the racetrack and not on the others. So big is this lap, so much land does it cover. You see a bunch of dirt on the left side pod of Scott McLaughlin. He's obviously dropped some wheels somewhere.
Let's have a look at it. Let's see what happened to the driver of the Xpel Chevy. Top of the hill, turn 6.
That's right where Giotto went off.
The Giotto special.
He avoided the giant mud pat. Well, I shouldn't say that. He got right through the sippy hole there.
Airborne through a good chunk of it. But yeah, it's so easy. You come up the hill here between 5 and 6. It crests right as you want to turn in. You immediately just lose grip. And as soon as you get a little bit offline in these conditions, but you can see, Townsend, on the camera, how much rain is falling in this section of the racetrack.
He's Felix Rosenquist, the man who started the year with such an unbelievable qualifying run. Outside the front row, pole position, 3rd row. Just went on. He started those first 3 races just with unbelievable qualifying pace. Really good. Let's see if he goes on with it here. 6:40 left to play. Palou, Herta, Pourchaire, Kirkwood, Dixon, Rasmussen, but that's going to change here. Change any second. Scotty Max in the green. Rosenqvist rockets his way to 5th. Third different incident for Scott McLaughlin. Check it out, same corner, turn 14. We saw this earlier. This is a different moment of him having to catch, and he's headed towards the grass, gets on the grass.
You know, one thing I really noticed there in that great replay is the violence with which the headers are shaking. And if you remember a few years ago, I think on a few of the Chevy runners, they had cracked headers that took them out because of how aggressive the chatter is on the exit curbs here at Road America.
Turn 6 area, looks like the runoff at turn 5. Looks like he got spun around and then maybe stalled it. Dead stick on the session, clock stops. Now this is going to be interesting for those drivers that came into the pits.
Get his right side's on the paint.
No, he was already locked up
first.
He had both fronts locked.
Should be pretty simple, except for probably a stalled race car. Firestone has to make their best guess. They do a heck of a job given a raid tire that works in so many conditions, but if you run it too much, it will start to ultimately degrade very fast.
Everybody wants to be the first car in line. Colton Herta has that advantage, and look at this, even the race off of pit road, Scott Dixon getting the drop on Scott McLaughlin, Alex Palou trying to get around as well, and then you get off that PLC button, and look at how hard it is to get the power down.
And it's going to be interesting, James, when they get to the backside of the track to Canada Corner, because there's not enough time left, really, to do 2 laps. I don't think Colton Herta will make it. That means you're going to get 1 lap. So do you back up to get a gap and run the risk of somebody trying to pass you and ruin the lap? So it'll be really interesting to see what happens here.
Betters his time, but stays second.
McLaughlin, does he make it? Yes, goes to P3.
That's Kyle Kirkwood out, but then Kirkwood crosses the line.
Kirkwood!
And he goes in. Pourchaire currently out. Lundqvist on the bubble.
Linus is there, walking the tightrope at the moment. Here comes Rasmussen. Pourchaire. Here comes, is that Grosjean? Crosses the line. Grosjean almost got there.
Oh, Rasmussen's close.
Pit, finish at pit.
Something must have happened to Felix Rosenqvist. I think we lost him on the tracker, but I thought, to your point, James, he was going to have the best chance because he was the last sort of quote quick car that will have the driest racetrack, and he locks up. Oh, that's so brutal. Turn 5.
First the left front, then the right front through the gravel. Lap done. 11th in the session for Felix Rosenqvist.
And where did that happen for a car that looked just like it? Elio
Right
Castroneves,
there.
his teammate, the exact same situation, the exact same off.
See how much water sits inside the gaps in the curbing there. It's just the valleys in there.
He said, I do not think it will be dry here in the Fast 12, but the Fast 6, that could be a totally different story, Lee. This is going to be a fun final little qualifying session here at Road America.
As the Gainbridge Honda of Colton Herta is up to speed, we can see it here from the booth where the cloud ceiling has lifted and things are getting brighter and lighter.
On a track that really doesn't have any more spray. You have more contact patch there.
That's an interesting one because when you get to that more contact patch, you're in such a harder part of the rubber on the tire. The soft part of the tires, you see McLaughlin there trying to get offline, get some rain, some water on those tires to cool them down.
I don't think it's going to matter. At the rate that this track is drying and with blue sky off into the distance, as I look to the west towards Oshkosh, you can see lots of blue poking through.
Sure can. Here's Scott Dixon, 7:40 left on the clock, plenty of green there. Positions changing. McLaughlin jumps up to 5th. Dixon goes to P2. Hang on, because this is going to be a wild ride to see who makes it to the Firestone Fast 6. This track, and this guy here we're watching, Colton Herta, he got his first ever career pole here. Alex Palou, 2 wins in the last 3 years. The Spaniard runs off track at the top of the hill at turn 6. What happened to Colton? Or we're getting a better look at Palou.
That's another shot at Palou, but I think Colton Herta's onboard is a good one to watch here. This is where it counts. Tires are primed up, ready to go. Let's enjoy the mastery. Look at the rears. They are well chewed up on the outside edges.
He's still in the conversation. Rossi, another one on the outside looking in, not tracking well, but his teammate Award.
Now Pelot's in the red. This is a real surprise. I think those things were good for that one lap, James, and then that's it.
I think you're right. It's just so dry. Look at that. You can see the four-wheel drift that Pelot's got through the carousel, just barely tracking in.
Whoa! Lost 3/10 there.
Pato O'Ward is 2.5 of a second away from leapfrogging his way into the fast six.
And O'Ward just gave up.
Rossi, 6 seconds back, just keep it coming in.
Pelot is trying everything there, going wide at the exit, trying to make anything work to find grip, but I'm afraid no chance.
It's over. It's over. His rookie teammate, though, Linus Lundqvist, is going. He's going to the Firestone Fast Six. How cool is that? Not without a few moments, a few step outs, but he's got super fast hands, as we've seen so many times, and completes a lap.
Understand Linus Lundqvist is on wets, so he will wisely pit for slicks straight away. This will be a long 7 minutes, James. A lot's going to happen.
It certainly is, and again, it is going to get faster every single lap, but as soon as you overstep the grip of the tire and that window of dry track, it's going to be a disaster. Drivers really thread the needle here.
Colton Herta's trying to go back-to-back poles. He won the NTT P1 award last weekend and showed some wonderful emotion. And the Firestone Reds are working. Newgarden completes his first flyer. Marty?
It is to go to dry. Everybody's on dry.
The Verizon Chevy of Will Power. In his 101st Firestone Fast Six, he breaks the tie with Scott Dixon. They were both on triple digits at the 100 mark, and Power goes to 101, and he goes to needing some assistance. This is what happened to Will.
Talked about this being the sketchiest section, and let's see what caught him out. That right front gets into the wet spot, so just a little early on turn in, and then it's the moment you're off the dry section, forget it.
Yeah, he just had that right front hanging up on the wet part of the racetrack. He was pedaling it to try to keep the engine running, trying to get his hand on that hand clutch. This is the tough part. You're full opposite lock. So you see the right front just stop.
He just sort of wished it in a little early. You know, he got off of that little dry section, and
So you'll probably get 2 time laps. Do you want these tires or you want new tires? If it's 2 laps, new tires.
Yeah, and that's an interesting call. I do think that shows that, you know, the experience yesterday, for some of them it was one and done, but as you heard him say, if it's 2 laps, I want to go put heat in them for a lap.
2 time laps here, 2 time laps.
And then another lap to go for broke. It allows you to it's almost like having a banker, but it's on the same set of tires.
Under 3 minutes left. There's some big times approaching. Look at that, big chunks of time. We're used to looking at the screen and seeing maybe 2/10 of a second or 3/10 of a second.
Although Colton Herta making a liar out of me.
Kirkwood goes to P1. It's about to change because Armstrong should jump there. He does. 1 minute 50 left. Still plenty of green there. Here is Colton Herta.
So Herta, again, he's still on his first flyer, so the only driver to get close to the time of Marcus Armstrong, and Armstrong was on warmer tires at least.
yeah, but Colton Herta is going to get another timed lap, and now might have his Firestones come into the perfect window and fresher than Armstrong's. So this could be a great opportunity for Colton Herta to reclaim the throne this weekend. The fastest man so far. Kyle Kirkwood on a good one.
What's it say for Kyle Kirkwood? Goes to the top at the moment. 7 seconds left, 6 seconds left. Marcus Armstrong to the top.
Where's Lundqvist? Is he going to make it? It's going to be close.
Yes, he makes it. And he goes to the top.
Now push.
The 25-year-old Swedish driver gets go back on board the Gainbridge Honda. Colton Herta bringing it home. Chip Ganassi's 2 young drivers, 2 of his 3 young drivers are 1 and 2 at the moment. Qualifying time is up, laps count.
Gonna need big commitment from Herta here through 13. And the caution's out.
Newgarden, massive hit. Where's that, the kink?
That is huge, that PPG Chevy. Look at the right side of it.
We had just talked about that water that might linger in the exit curb, and I had said that, you know, nobody had really gone for it yet. Nobody had trusted it enough. That was a big hit. Exit of the carousel, here's the kink.
Oh, it's on entry.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And guys, you can see there's safer barrier right there because of this kind of accident. Had that just been straight concrete, it would have been even harder. Let's ride on board. Watch the left side tires.
And that is almost certainly a chassis completely destroyed.
Balance this shock and surprise with the fact that we've got a first-time career pole sitter, and it's Linus Lundqvist for Chip Ganassi Racing, the American Legion Honda. How about that?
P1, dude. You gotta have.
P1, dude.
I know this one means a lot to you, but when you woke up this morning, you saw the rain. Were you thinking, I might have a shot to pull this off today?
I mean, I think every driver kind of wakes up thinking that when they see the rain, but man, what can I say? Want to say thank you to the team, to the A crew for sticking with me. Obviously, it's been a couple of races, so to be able to bounce back like this is nice.
Yeah, you told me last week I'm still working on my confidence. I'm working on putting the whole game together. What does this do for your confidence?
I mean, there's no better way of rebuilding confidence with this. You know, my first ever pole in IndyCar. In these conditions as well, I mean, it was tricky, very tricky out there in the wet to start off with, then going to dry tires. I think we were the only ones starting on wets as well, so, you know, kind of had to make a late switch there, but we made it work in the end, and man, I'm just super, super happy.
All right, Linus Lundqvist will lead him to the green flag tomorrow, and guess what? For the first time in your career, you get the NTT P1 award.
Hi folks, Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.